Yeah.
Well, we're having elected officials come by. We're having friends come by. It's a ton of fun here. And joining us now is Darcy Schoening. Darcy, we'll turn it up. Can we?
There it is.
Can we get it on? Headphones so she can hear. But Darcy Schoening is running for chairwoman of the Colorado Republican Party. She's like, you know what I want to do? Try to deal with this chaos for another few years. Darcy, thanks so much, first of all, for coming by and saying hi to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, Jeff.
So you currently work for the Colorado Republican Party. Tell us about your current job.
Sure. So I'm currently the Director of Special Initiatives for the Colorado GOP, which is kind of a role that was created for me. I write local policy initiatives. I'm really attuned at opting school boards and localities out of oppressive laws coming out of the legislature. I led the historic endorsement of President Trump by the Colorado GOP. I also led the candidate initiatives in the last cycle. So that title's just a little bit of everything. It's just whatever the state of Colorado needs.
Wow. Okay. So give us your history. How'd you get into politics? Have you always been a right-winger?
I've always been a right-winger, but I wasn't always active. So many people may not know I owned a restaurant in Palmer Lake for years. Yeah. Chicago pizza and soul food. And,
wow, Chicago pizza and soul food in Palmer Lake.
Yep, and at the height of COVID was when I really started to notice that the Colorado government is out of control. And around that time, I had 2 small children, and I said to myself, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and shut this restaurant down, and I'm going to throw my full weight into fighting Governor Polis and the Democrats.
You're a mama bear.
I am.
So it was what the state was doing about your kids' futures, the lockdowns, all the restrictions, the oppressiveness that comes from progressive leadership in the state, and you said, I'm willing to step out.
Yeah. I mean, watching my kids have to be masked to walk into their school, watching them have to do online learning, I just couldn't sit there. I couldn't sit there and take it like a lot of moms across the state.
Wow. So you've been currently serving with the state party. From all we understand, Dave Williams could continue to run. You're on his team, and you've decided to step up. What does that tell Dave Williams, you think?
Well, I mean, as I told Dave, I said, you've been a great boss, you've been a good leader, but I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in because I want to show the rest of the state, the Republicans in Colorado, that I want it, that I've been putting the work in, that I'm ready for this title, I'm ready to step up and lead even more strong than I have been the last several years. And so that was my way of saying, look, if whatever happens, I want to tell you guys, I'm ready. I'm ready to take this to the next level.
So even if that means like a head-to-head race with Dave Williams, I mean, are you essentially saying that you could do better than Dave Williams as chairwoman of the state party?
Well, Dave and I lead totally differently. So I would never say, I would never come in here and say that, you know, I'm better than Dave or anybody's better than anybody. Yeah. So everybody's got a different approach. And I think that my initiatives, such as the Bob Initiative, Build Our Benches, I've already got $150,000 in donor commitments for the 2025 school board races. I'm really passionate about school board races, and the GOP needs to be more involved in those. We say that they're nonpartisan, but they're not.
Right. That's exactly right.
So that's a big deal for me, and that's really never been a focus of any Colorado GOP. So we just lead differently.
Yeah. Let's talk about those local races.
Sure.
Why are they so important in Colorado from your perspective?
Well, number one, when you are in a blue state like Colorado, as I've been going around the state the last several years, here's what I tell families, is that the legislature, they're going to do what they want, right? They're controlled by Denver and Boulder. But just because the lines are drawn in a way where that area controls the rest of the state doesn't mean that conservative areas like El Paso County, like Douglas County, I've been working with school boards and cities in those areas to pass things like the Safe Spaces gun law opt-out, mental health assessments opt-out. And it's important that we stand for our families in those localities because the legislature isn't going to. But furthermore, that's where we have our next generation of leaders as well. That's where our state rep candidates come from, our governor candidates. But also, when we build up our localities and build our benches, we build donor confidence. And we really need to build that donor confidence back up. So, they're investors, and they want their investment to go somewhere. And that's what we ought to be bringing them.
Right. And we can show voters how much better we can lead. I think Danielle Jurinsky is a great example of this. Look at what she's done with Aurora. She's a city councilwoman.
Right.
National impact from a city council race. We can always try to jump to the statewide, and we want those statewide. We want governor, senator, all that stuff. But you can also make an impact locally and win and show voters how conservatives can lead differently. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
If you look at, I'll use Grand Peak Academy in Colorado Springs, there was recently a transgender teacher, Miss Sparkles, a 50-year-old man. Because of state laws and what Jared Polis has done, there was no recourse for us to have this teacher removed from second grade girls' bathrooms. So I went in there and single-handedly orchestrated a social media presence that pressured that school to get that teacher out of there. We can win locally, and we don't need the legislature, and we don't need Jared Polis to do it.
We're talking with Darcy, I always say Schoening, but it's Schoening, and my apologies, Darcy Schoening. She's running for state party chair. That means she wants to be the top Republican within the Republican Party here in the state of Colorado. Bill, got some questions for Darcy.
Yeah, what do you think the opportunities are for growth of the GOP here in Colorado? Keep hearing that it's just a liberal bastion. We're a blue state. How do you turn it red? What are the growth opportunities?
Well, the growth opportunities, as I was just kind of mentioning, they come from the localities. And as I've been able to really reinforce some conservative policies in the localities and the school boards over these last several years, what that shows are unaffiliated, because we have to meet them where they're at. It shows them that, look, Denver's in decay. If you live in Denver, you wake up to gunshots, you wake up to homeless people at your back door. But if you live in Douglas County, or you live in Palmer Lake or Monument, our policies are better. We protect families. We stand for kids. We don't stand for criminals. We don't stand for a woke agenda. So as we build out, as we strengthen our red communities that already exist, which I've been working on for several years, that's how we get to a place where not only are we unified and working on the same goals, but we're also drawing in unaffiliateds, and we're able to take Colorado back.
What are those messages that seem to resonate with the unaffiliated voters?
Sure. So your dinner table issues. From the unaffiliated voters, we hear more about the dinner table issues than we do the social issues, for example. So while, a lot of people are concerned about the indoctrination in the schools, that's what I continue to hear from Republicans across the state. A lot of the unaffiliateds lean more towards concerns with the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, the egg bill. They're more concerned with their everyday lives, their day-to-day lives, and how they're going to pay for their children's college. And so that's what we have to help them understand, that these oppressive Democrat policies, that's what costs us money.
Are there ways that any Republican laws or movements or ideas would be able to lower those dinner table conversations? I mean, what policies could we implement that would lower energy prices and or gas prices? What about housing prices and rent?
Well, a lot of that's going to be coming down from the federal level, as you know. I mean, most inflation is caused at the federal level, but we've got so much waste in Colorado, so much overspending. Housing would cost less, and groceries would cost less if the government weren't throwing it away on DEI programs and, Mayor Johnson bringing in 3,000 illegals every month.
We're talking with Darcy Schoening. She's Director of Special Events now for the Colorado GOP, and she's running to become chairwoman of the Colorado Republican Party. Now, Britta Horn's also in the race. Britta's going to be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour. Why are you better than Britta Horn to run the Republican Party?
I'm better than anyone to run the Republican Party. Britta Horn included. So, a gentleman in the audience just came up and he said, I see your emails all the time. I see all the things you're doing. And that's what I continue to hear. You see me working. You see me out leading the endorsement of Trump. You see me out fighting for the schools. You saw me in Durango 2 weeks ago in the middle of the night fighting for the kids out in Durango. And so a vote for me is a sure thing. You know I'm going to do the work. I don't have to prove it because I'm doing it. And a vote for anybody else is just, it's a wild card. And so anybody can go around the state with a microphone and say, hey, unity, hey, Republican agenda. We don't like the Democrats. But it takes a doer. And that's what we've been missing in our party for so long is the doers, the people that aren't afraid to take the media hits, the people that'll knock on doors, the people that will cure ballots. That's what we need in the party, and that's what I bring to the table.
Talking with Darcy Schoening, she's running for chairwoman of the Colorado Republican Party. By the way, her X account is Darcy4. That's the number 4, CO, if you want to follow her there. The Jeff and Bill show, I think, has been uniquely positioned in the Republican, quote-unquote, civil war that's been taking place. And part of me doesn't get into it because I worked for the state party. And I remember the Civil War back then. It was between Ryan Call and Dudley Brown. And I remember the whole time just being like, guys, let's just, like, the problem are the Democrats. And so I just never really got drug into it. But we've had both sides on this. Gabe Evans has been on our show, said he got nothing from the state party this last cycle. Was he wrong about that?
Well, I think if you would ask Gabe, was Darcy there for you? Did she contact you? Was she contacting your campaign? He would say yes. Yes, okay. She was. So there was definitely an outreach candidate initiative that was created, that I created for the state party. And there were candidates that chose to utilize that support, and then there were candidates that did not. And either way is fine. As we grow, and even when I'm chair, as we build out an infrastructure, we don't want candidates to feel that they have to do things the way that the state party does, but we want to make sure that they know those resources are there. They're available to you. We're here to help you.
In your Republican Party leadership, is there room for Jeff Hurd, Gabe Evans, Lauren Boebert, the kind of spectrum of the Republican movement?
There's literally room for everybody in the spectrum of the Republican movement. Everybody in this room brings a different skill to our party. And we have to look at every individual on a human being level and say, what do you bring to the table? And what do you need? How can I help you be successful? And that's what I've been doing. And I think everybody's got a place.
We're talking with Darcy Schoening. She's the Director of Special Initiatives for the Colorado Republican Party. We're doing a live broadcast here at the IHOP. So you can come down and say hi to her. She's going to talk and meet some folks. We're going to have Britta Horn up next. So let's talk about the process. When is the chairperson for the Republican Party chosen?
So the chairperson will be chosen the last weekend of March 29th, most likely. Time and place to be determined. Okay. And the voting body is the State Central Committee. That's about 480 members at this point. So it's your county leadership and bonus members.
So that 400 plus people are going to be the ones that vote. An average Republican cannot vote. It has to be, you have to be part of that State Central Committee leadership, right?
Correct.
Okay. So they're going to make this decision at the end of March. I imagine you are calling all of them.
Yes, calling all of them, showing up at their
coming to IHOP to hang out on the Jeff and Bill show. What are you hearing from them? What are the top 2 issues you're hearing from the people that are actually going to vote on who the chairperson of the Colorado Republican Party is going to be?
Sure. So I would say the top 2 issues are helping candidates, getting candidates elected. Everybody wants to see a strong backbone in the Colorado GOP to get candidates elected. And then the second issue is, which I'm hearing all over the place, people are really concerned about Tina Peters still being in jail, and rightfully so. So I'll be working on that as well. In fact, I've got a little bit of work to do to help her today. But if you take those 2 issues aside, the other thing that I continue to hear is, how are we going to be united? How are we going to stop the infighting?
Right.
Which is a more abstract issue, but I continue to hear it.
Let's talk about Tina Peters because, look, no matter where you fall on the conviction, what she did wrong, all that stuff, 9 years.
9 years.
9 years. I pointed this out on X the other day. A person that used to work for Coca-Cola stole the trade secrets for the most popular soft drink in the world, tried to sell it, and went to jail for 8 years. So the person that tried to sell the most protected secret of one of the most global brands went to jail for 8 years. Tina Peters, 9 years. You can rape a child in Colorado and get out on probation.
Right.
The length, the severity of the punishment, no matter where you vote, you could look at Tina Peters and go, she was completely innocent. Everything she did was above board. That's fine. You could look at Tina Peters and go, she shouldn't have turned off the cameras. That stuff shouldn't have been leaked.
Yeah.
All that stuff. You could either way.
Of course.
9 years. To me, seems like an act of political injustice.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
It's political persecution. The judge that spoke up and said, Tina needs to learn a lesson. Tina needs to be in jail for 9 years because she is a risk to our democracy, a risk to people in Colorado. No, the illegals that you're setting free on the streets after raping women, those people are a risk to Colorado citizens. This is nothing more than political persecution. In fact, I believe that judge needs to be tried for corruption. That's what political persecution is. And I would like to speak more to the Trump administration about that. We're hearing more about corruption at the level of the judge and the people who, tried to take Tina down. And I think we need to look at that, but I think that we also need to look at it from the perspective of, 25% of Colorado's funding comes from the federal level. So let's identify a program that's really important to Jared Polis and his husband, probably something to do with animals, and say to them, look, we're going to the Trump administration. If you don't pardon Tina, this program to feed horses organic hay is going to go away. We need to cause them pain, and they need to let Tina out.
So you talked about the idea of
We're
Tina,
talking with Darcy Schoening.
Yeah, being a political persecution. Explain to me why what happened with Tina Peters, in your opinion, is a political persecution.
Well, as Jeff just mentioned, it's one thing to try somebody, but the level of punishment that she's receiving, it's not comparable. It's not in line with other crimes across the state.
Does the fact that she did not have any contrition and told the judge that she would do it again absolutely in a second have anything to do with the length of the sentence?
Well, when has that ever been the case? I mean,
when judges oftentimes, when the person says, I'm sorry, this is a mistake I made, I wouldn't do it again, that lessens the sentence. She did not take that opportunity. Right. She told the judge, I'm right, and I'll do it again. He basically said, if I'm out on the street, I'm going to continue to talk about this. I'm continuing to say that. And that's why she's being put into prison. So if you had someone that was in front of you, that you were a judge, and said, yeah, I know I stole 15 cars. And if you put me out on the street again, I'm not sorry about it. I'm going to go steal more cars. Why would you put that person in for a shorter sentence? Wouldn't you extend their sentence? Isn't that exactly what she got?
Well, I think stealing cars and saying I'm going to go steal more cars, I'm going to go rape more children is a far cry from saying I'm going to go out into the streets.
But the issue is contrition, and that's what I'm focusing on. I don't care. I'm just using the example as another example. We could say someone that is taking stuff from Walmart. We could say someone that is embezzling. Whatever that crime is, invent what you want. But the issue I'm focusing on is contrition.
Yeah.
Can't see that act of contrition, the fact that Tina wasn't sorry and actually boldly said she would do it again and continue doing it if she was on the street, doesn't that extend her sentence? Wouldn't you do that as a judge?
No, I think it shows that the judge was emotional and that he's politically persecuting her.
How? When she says she's not sorry and that she's going to do it again, why would you put someone back on the street that says they're going to go do the crime again? Why would you do that?
Tina Peters being on the street and speaking to people, the act of speaking is not a crime. And that's kind of the argument that you're making here.
Not necessarily, because last time I checked, people showed up to a Capitol on January 6th over stuff that they were told that wasn't true. They were lied to and they got out of hand. So the idea of just speech isn't necessarily just innocent per se, right. Especially when she's talking about something that is a provable lie. Tina Peters has no proof of a stolen election. And 5 years later, she still stands there and says the election was stolen, regardless of not having any proof. Is that an issue?
Part of the challenge is for her to commit the crime again, she'd have to be chosen by the people to be the county clerk again. And so you have this giant check on her ability to create or commit a crime again. That is the will of the people to put her back in that position. I don't know. What are you
Well, and that's the thing. You have to ask yourself, I mean, is she really a danger to the people of Colorado? And I firmly believe that she is not.
But weren't there people of Colorado, now they've been pardoned, but they were convicted for January 6th actions, and part of that reason they were convinced of that is because of what Tina did. And she went through and did illegal actions in order to further a giant law that ended up with people at the end of it going to jail. I mean, again, all the people that showed up there were tens of thousands of people that didn't break into the Capitol and didn't do anything, but they were there. I know, but they were there because they were lied to. That doesn't play into it at all.
Do people not have free will?
Yeah, they do, but we just pardoned them because of that free will and that choice. That's what the choice for them to walk into that Capitol, whether or not they did anything, they'd made that choice, and now we pardoned them before that. And
Tina Peters didn't force them to walk into the Capitol, and now we're talking about whether their walking into the Capitol was right and just or not.
Yeah, we should, and especially because Tina Peters used her free will in order to commit crimes, which include identity theft and taking items and taking information from the state she was not allowed to. She went outside of the purview. She's not allowed to open up an investigation on her own, yet she did that. That was her own free will. Why can't Tina's own free will choices keep her in jail? She made all those choices of herself, yes, and she made them incorrectly, and now she's in jail for it. Why can't she own that?
Well, she can own it, but again, as Jeff continues to 9 years, 9 years. I mean, we've got illegals that rape women and run people over in their trucks, and they serve 3 days.
I know, but we don't want equity as far as or equality based on sentencing. We got into problems with that under the Clinton administration, where if you were picked up for certain drug offenses, you were put into jail for a certain amount of time regardless. The judge needs to have this type of ability to change the sentence based on the person that is in front of them. And when Tina was given the opportunity, she did not say that she was sorry.
We got to get to a break here. I want to give Darcy the final word here. Darcy Schoening, she's running for candidate for Colorado GOP chairman. She came into the hot seat with Bill. She's done great. I'll give you the final word. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Yes, thank you.
It's an honor to be here. As I said, during this radio show, look, I've already been doing the work. Most of you in this room have probably seen my name, seen me in the media, out fighting for your family, fighting for your children. I'm going to continue doing that. I led the historic endorsement of President Trump, led the candidate initiative. I have opted out dozens of localities and schools from our oppressive Colorado laws. I've proven that I'm going to continue to stand for you. And with your vote for Colorado GOP chair, that will allow me to take this to the next level where we can truly take Colorado back with your help. So thank you, guys.
Follow Darcy Schoening at Darcy4CO. That's the number 4CO on X. She did a great job. Great conversation with Bill.
Yes,
thank you so much, Darcy.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the time. Good luck.
You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
All right. Good job. Bill Show, we are live right now from the IHOP off of Arapahoe Road and I-25. Mike Boyle set this all up. Man, this place is hopping, dude.
Yeah, it is.
They came to see you guys.
No, they heard about the pancakes. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with us.
And the $7.10 deal probably didn't hurt
yeah.
you. But folks, it goes until 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Still got time.
You know what I had for breakfast?
What'd you have?
I had the chicken sandwich, the classic chicken sandwich. And the reason is because, a lot of people think of IHOP pancakes, breakfast, lunch.
Yeah.
They do a wonderful dinner business, and I'm going to do an event with them, and we're going to feature the burgers, the chicken sandwich, the Philly. So I figured I better give it a try. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah, I was doing research, guys.
I think you should go back and try again later this morning.
Just
to make sure you were right.
There's a handful of guys I've known that have built their professional lives around their true joys and passions. You have done that.
Bless
what
your
a
heart.
lucky guy you are.
Yes,
Well,
you
thank
are.
you. Thank
great.
you. If you love what you're doing, you ain't working, right?
That's right.
Listen,
That's
you
true.
guys love what you're doing. So,
debating Bill is what I love doing.
hey, thanks for the time, guys.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Mike Boyle back from Mexico. We're here for another hour and 15 minutes. Come say hi. I-25 Arapahoe Road. Joe from Arvada's in the studio.
Yes.
Jeff Hildebrand's going to be up next. We got Britta Horn coming in the 9 o'clock hour. Melissa's here. All of our friends that text us regularly. Bill's mom and my mom are here.
They're over there sitting in the same booth,
I
and
know.
sharing stories.
They have literally not paid attention to us at all.
Oh, yeah.
They got together and are talking.
They're so stories. And they're all going, yeah, and one time he did this. And I tell you what, he put on his nose and it wouldn't come out and we had to go to the doctor. That's going to be great. These are going to be great stories.
All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show live from,
No, it's okay. We are live from IHOP Greenwood Village. Come on out, $7.10, big giant stack of pancakes, or you get your choice of 2 pancakes, 2 eggs, bacon or sausage, and the hash browns. You're not going to find a better deal in town. This is the Jeff and Bill Show live at the IHOP in Greenwood Village. We are Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. All right, good.
So we're doing a live broadcast at IHOP. So you remember the dreams you have where you're the king of the world?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And they just serve you
Yes.
and food. Well, we are. They just brought us a burger
It's an
with
avocado
bacon,
burger of some
avocado
sort.
burger,
Look
and
at
then
that
some
thing.
cinnadippers.
Cinnadippers and oh my lord.
With icing.
Okay, you got to talk for a second. I'm going to cinnadipper
Well,
thing.
we're going to let Jeff Hildebrand talk.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
We've got it up here on camera. You can see it. We're doing a live broadcast at IHOP for the next hour or so till 10 o'clock.
Oh, my goodness.
I-25 Arapahoe Road, jam-packed. People are having a great smiles all over the place. People are having a great time. In fact, we're now in the overflow area over
Yes, we
there,
are.
but we'll fit you in. Come on down. All right,
Oh,
Cowboy
cinnadippers.
Poet Laureate Jeff Hildebrand's joining us,
Yes, he is.
everybody. Everybody loves
Yes,
him on
Jeff.
Friday. He looks great as well. He's got the bolo and the hat on. All right, give us a poem here.
All
sir.
right, this one I think is appropriate. It's called I Stop at IHOP. Oh, now this is serious. Oh, pancake, you steaming stack of syrupy circles, dripping delicious delight with every bite. If breakfast were baseball, I'd cry batter up and watch them sizzle, then slowly drizzle their fluid fruit or magic maple, till like a waterfall it cascades from peak to plate. It brings back memories as if I was there, a little girl in her little high chair. Though it's been years, the memory lingers of her squishing pancakes between her fingers. Oh, you griddle cake where pats of butter go to melt, and I'm forced to undo my belt. It seems so long, it's hard to wait. Is that my waitress with my plate? It is! Oh, no! This just is awful. She's bringing out a Belgian waffle, piled high with berries and whipped cream. My wife's all smiles. I want to scream. The waffle is her breakfast treat. But where is what I want to eat? My pancake! At last I see them, piping hot. Oh, this is going to hit the spot. I just can't wait. My heart's aflutter. The waitress says, "Here's extra butter." I gaze upon that glorious plate. I tell you it was worth the wait for pancakes.
Oh, yes.
Woo! Yes.
Oh, that's
yes.
wonderful.
Jeff Hildebrand.
Yes, Jeff Hildebrand.
Wow.
That is amazing.
And IHOP will be bringing you into court.
Yeah, I'm going back to the Cinnabite. I had one of those while Jeff was talking, and the Cinnabites are so good. Our craft are eating them. So they're like donut holes, but cinnamon and sugar on the outside, and they're soft, and you got to have one.
And you got
Please, we
icing,
don't want to
and
say
you got
anything
caramel.
about Bill's cinnamon buns.
No, you don't. No. That's not for sharing. That's for our OnlyFans page, and you have to register on that. No, I'm kidding.
We've got milkshakes here, too. This is a caramel
milkshake.
apple milkshake. You've got a strawberry.
Oh, my goodness.
This is like literally the definition of gluttony.
Oh, this is. This absolutely is. And I keep thinking, oh, God, what am I going to be able to eat the rest of the day after all these? This is
You're
so
gonna have to
good.
go to confession, my friend.
Oh, yeah. But these
Your mom will take you there.
Yeah, she will. Those Cinnabites, they're fresh, they're warm, they're soft on the inside. It's like that fresh donut, that just comes out of the oven.
Yes.
And you got the cinnamon sugar on the top, and we're going to have to dig into that burger in a sec. But Jeff Hildebrand, thank you for stopping by,
He's
sir.
going to be here for a little bit
Yes.
longer. We'll get some more poetry from
Yes,
him.
we
but
will.
That was fantastic.
That was wonderful.
Pancake poetry.
Yes.
Pancake cowboy poetry.
Yes. Who else
At
does that?
IHOP. We're eating well. We're having fun. Britta Horn's going to be swinging by. Lots of conversations still to be had. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are 710 KNUS.
Attention small business owners. Tired of the hassle of 1099 reporting? Meet eFile My Forms, your all-in-one e-filing solution. We handle over 25 IRS-compliant federal and state forms, from W-2s and 1099s to ACAs, with built-in 10 verification, one-click e-filing, and real-time tracking. Plus, we'll print and mail forms to your recipients, saving you time and effort. Fast, secure, and cost-effective. That's eFile My Forms. Visit efilemyforms.com today to get started for free. No credit card required. Simplify your tax season with eFile My Forms.